Good afternoon, Fourth State. We meet once again for an update. The first that I'm participating this year. And we are in that period just before publication of the final delimitation report, which we hope will not be interfered with. We hear all sorts of rumors. It is not perfect. It has got many anomalies that we highlighted, but we're prepared to use it as a stepping stone. Before I invite Honorable Sibanda to deal with the issue at hand, the electoral amendment bill, let me just take you back down memory lane and in a way tackle on some of the issues that Ostalos has referred to. We emerged from the 2018 elections scarred, wounded, angry, and everything else. And that attitude was borne out in the multiple electoral observer mission reports. And the standard for performance in our democratic elections is already set in the form of the African Charter on democratic elections. Zimbabwe has not yet ratified, but it has acknowledged, it's signed up. Same thing with the SADC guidelines on democratic elections. These are important documents which are not imported, but which we choose to selectively implement. So while all this was happening, the question you will ask is, what has CCC been doing? Quite simply, you have this document which we've shared, we presented, and it was launched in September last year. It is common cause. In there are the 7 pillars which reflect what we want to see in a reformed electoral system. So there's no departure from it. But Ostalos has pointed out that we are in this struggle, and the reform agenda is always part of that struggle. But we are in this struggle to win the next election, irrespective of what they may do, and we know they're doing a lot. There have also been inter-party consultations behind the scenes, some of which you may or may not know, some of which may appear in the bill that Honorable Sibanda will talk about. But what is important is that which we want ourselves to see appear, even if it does not appear because of the strength in numbers, but there's strength in quality as well. The other aspect which has occupied CCC is building the movement, which we are delighted that it has permeated the fabrics of society in both rural and urban areas. Who was to know that we would perform the way we did in the by-elections, both at parliamentary level and at local authority level. It's a foretaste of what is to happen. And we're working pretty hard to that effect. We registered our protest against ZEC over the lack of interface between them and the Registrar General over the issuance of national identity documents, which are a necessary component for the voter registration process. It was not coincidental that they did not collaborate. It was not coincidental, I repeat. The result being that the voters' roll that was used for the delimitation process is way below the potential that it could have been. So we are quite clear that the delimitation map that will emerge is not representative of even the people that will finally vote whenever this general election is called. We have a good sense that a lot of young people remain eager to register, some skeptical. And we are encouraged by comments from ZEC that the voter registration blitz will run yet again. And it is up to us as stakeholders, the fourth state especially, to maintain that pressure on what they intimated that they will do, because it will simplify matters. But of course, the larger the number of new people registered, the more skewed the delimitation map is going to be. But that's a problem that we're prepared to face. We need to have more people registered. The voters' roll itself is, and I'm mentioning all these things because Honorable Spander is going to have to dwell on the same issues. Therefore, what's happening in that parliamentary theatre of struggle. The voters' roll itself, we know, is skewed. Prepare made mention of the need for measures that give confidence to the voters' roll. So the overall picture emerging, and you're absolutely right to say that we've got a huge task ahead of us. There will probably be as many as 12,000 polling stations, if not even more, if they were to do their job properly. But rest assured that we are sufficiently represented at all those polling stations. We're conscious that some would try to frustrate that process, but they got to think again. Then it leaves ZANU with one default measure, which they implemented after the by-election results. That's violence and intimidation. We won't be retarded at all, but we are encouraged by the response from all stakeholders, the abhorrence to those incidents, against those incidents of violence. May those voices multiply, because the sum total of all those voices of disgust will ensure that this practice stops. We're a democratic movement, and as such, there is no plan B. The plan B is plan A, which is fighting for democratic elections. And we are quite certain that we will prevail come the harmonized elections, whenever it is they're going to be called. There's one last point, which I think Honorable Spander will make mention. That is, The election must not be stolen. And we got our eyes open to ensure that that election will not be stolen this time around. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've done no more than highlight the problem areas, the challenge areas around which we build our election strategy. And it is coincidental, but welcome in a welcome way, that inroads have been made. There's a chink which we want to take advantage of, but there's a hell of a lot that remains to be done. Is Honorable Sibando will now proceed.